can deal with it.
I'm going to say one that really affected you. April 15, 1989.
Football, even now, is a sport. It's a game. And when something like that happens, where you have 89 people, amount of people dying, that's when you have to question, is this a game? Or because Bill Shankly once said, football is more important than life and death. It isn't. It can't even compete. It can't even come close to it. So when you have situations like that, you then have to say, we are playing a game and people are dying while we play a game. And that's when you have to start questioning it, because football isn't that important. It isn't that important. I won't say there are players who said I didn't feel like playing again. I never felt like not playing football again. I always would play football, but you have to put it into context, and you have to understand that that is much more important than football.
Before then, you said in your biography, anytime after that, you get home, hold your kids.
Well, that is when you really, because I suppose all parents worry about not having their children. You worry about from when they were young, when they're infants and you hear about cot death. I used to go in and check my children when they were like 6 months old, any little noise they made. The first ones, obviously after a while you realize that they're fine, they're very resilient, they fall, hit their heads, no problem. But, you look at people who you love, because people lost loved ones in Hillsborough. People lost fathers, daughters, sons. And you could never put yourself in that situation to see how would you feel if it was yours, because until you go through that process, you really don't know how you're going to react. But I had a lot of empathy with them and thought, well, if I lost my son, how would I feel? And that's why, I just, obviously, after that, I wanted to make as much as my children.
Started attending burials. The first one, Gary Church, son of Dave and Maureen Church in Waterloo.
Well, we went to a lot of funerals, but as much as death is a terrible thing, it goes to show the power of football. Because when these families of the bereaved came to Anfield, they were so happy to be at Anfield, even though they had lost their children and lost their fathers. You wanted to see this face, this smiles, that they were actually coming into the ground to meet the players' wives, the managers, because we were helping them to get through it. And it meant, a lot of them were saying to us, oh, he's looking down at me now. He cannot believe, if it was a son, for example, that I am now in the players' lounge talking to John Barnes. And I felt embarrassed, because they've lost their children, and they're just so happy to even be at Liverpool. I'm talking about a week. This is a week later. This is not years later, a week later. They cannot believe that they are actually being in Liverpool Football Club, in the depths of Liverpool Football Club, in the players' lounge, meeting and having, and that goes to show the power of football. How and what football can do to solve the problems of the world. I don't want to be all of a sudden starting to preach, but I've been to Rwanda and Burundi.